The Finance and Facilities Committee meeting is called to order. First thing is, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion. Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. First agenda item. I apologize for not being, I was down in Goldsboro, North Carolina at the last school board meeting, and something came up regarding out of zone. And I had made the comment that we're going to kind of go away from pushing the out of zone stuff, focus on academics, and then relook at that when it's time to do another study. And what I found out is Dr. Somerville gave me, and she won't be here, she's at a superintendent's conference, and Dr. Gupta said he wouldn't be able to be here today as well, so it's just us. But I asked her to give me a list of all the invited students in the district, and I meant to get this printed out, but we couldn't get it to print out, so. But the invited students, Schools for Innovation, Darrington has 73 invited students and a total enrollment of 227. Bass has 18 invited students with a total enrollment of 255. And I understand that when we redo their calendar, it may be a change going into next year because some of the students that aren't at Bass opted out because they couldn't start that early in the summer, but since we'll be starting at the same time, that may change. Then the big one is Dunbar Middle. There's 143 invited students at Dunbar Middle and a total enrollment of 503, which is about 36% of the school is bringing students from out of zone. And then the final one is the Go Center. And the Go Center has 54 invited students. And I have a list of where those students, because the comment was made that the Go Center was established for Paul Monroe. And if you can see by my chart, each base school and how many students are in the Go Center based on the base school. So Bass has 1 student in the Go Center. Bedford Hills has 11 students in the Go Center. Darrington, which is a school for innovation, has 1 student in the Go Center. Heritage Elementary has 2 students in the Go Center. Lincoln Elementary has 7 students in the Go Center. Perrymont Elementary has 6 students in the Go Center. Paul Monroe has 8 students in the Go Center. R.S. Payne has 3 students in the Go Center. Sandusky Elementary School has 6 students in the Go Center, and Sheffield has 8 students in the Go Center. So it looks like between Bedford Hills, Lincoln, Perrymont, Paul Monroe, Sandusky, and Sheffield, it's pretty even spread of the students that are in the Go Center. And I really don't think, and I talked to Ms. Harmon at Transportation, and she doesn't have any issues right now with the Go Center causing any delays or increased transportation costs with these 54 students, because it's pretty evenly balanced, so they're getting students from different parts of the city, so it's not concentrated in one area and bringing them in from one area. So I'm hoping that this will kind of put that to rest. I think last year when we moved the Birchwood students to Darrington, I also asked about that, and I asked about the Great James Crossing kids moving to Bass. She said that did have a definite economic impact on the transportation department, because those runs now take about 5 minutes, where they were over 20 to 30 minutes before, required a bus aid, and with that long run, there were times when They had to pull over on the high, on 460 or, and get police intervention, and this has helped. They're able to get to the school and get the kids home. So I would like to see us kind of focus, get away from that particular thing, and when we do a new study, I guess as part of the strategic plan, we'll probably plan to do a new study in the future when we'll relook at close to home. And I think that will be the time to look at that.
Question for you. You said that this was created for Paul Monroe.
No, that was what I heard on the camera at the last school board meeting,
What?
that the Go Center was set up to help Paul, to behalf of Paul Monroe.
No, that's not what was said.
Okay, that's what I heard, and then I can pull receipts if we need to. Any way to pull the, because that's what I heard. It had something to do with Paul Monroe.
It had something to do with it, because
Right.
the truth was that the Go Center was created to increase the scores of RS Payne. The majority of the students were coming from Paul Monroe and Bedford, from that section of town.
Right, but I'm looking at Sheffield.
But my point to you is that, let me finish, that because so many students were coming from there, it wasn't looked at as being fair, and it was a challenge to the unitary status. So then they had to change it all up to all the different schools to be included, because the majority of them were coming from the Boonesboro area. So this wasn't created, and it never was intended to be that way. But listen to the words again, because as long as, until this becomes a satisfied issue, and I understand what you're attempting, I appreciate it. It doesn't change the fact that the information is there, and as much as when new information comes up, it should be presented to the board. However, whether it comes to a board meeting or not, but I appreciate what you're doing here, and I appreciate the information. But the fact of the matter is that these were all, the schools, the attendance to the Go Center had to be moved, included with more students. So it's not necessarily all the ones that score the highest. It's just a representative of all the other elementary schools.
Okay.
So please check my words again.
I'm gonna check your words, but like I said, I don't have any information, and I was with the school system when the Go Center was started, and there was no information that the Go Center was started for Paul Monroe students to help RS Payne. And that's what I'm having an issue with, because it's evenly spread, and from day one, it required a test. A child had to pass a test and an application to get in the Go Center, and it was open to every school.
That's right.
So if Paul Monroe students happen to have had a larger majority at that time of applications, does not mean that it was created to bring those students to RS Payne. And for it to sound like that, and the feedback that I got from the community, it doesn't have a good sound.
Of course it doesn't.
That's why I wanted to make sure that we show that it's for every student throughout the city and not limited to a certain population and a certain zip code.
I appreciate what you're doing, and I understand the feedback from the community. Doesn't change the fact that this is cooking the books, this is cooking the information, and it's not you that's doing it, it's the information that's being given to you that's cooking it. If this was a business, and they were doing something like this to make something look more palatable, that would be something criminal. And the fact that it's doing here, it's just a matter of just trying to make the numbers work. And I get it.
And like I say, the issue is Paul Monroe is an exceptional school. Bedford Hills is in the second category. And RS Payne is in need of intensive care. And I think that's where we need to focus.
I agree with you. And that's my point. We have to identify the
But I don't think making any transportation changes, major transportation changes this time, is going to benefit either Paul Monroe or RS Payne.
Well, I'll still share the data that I get,
Okay?
and it
Just be
doesn't,
careful that how it looks to the community, because we have a diverse community, and we got to make sure that we're not saying things that appear to, because I don't see cooking the books. Every child has an opportunity to fill out an application to attend the Go Center when they get in third grade. Every child. And they have an equal opportunity to pass the test.
I'm just saying we need to identify the problem And
if it's considered a problem. But at this point, I just wanted it as a discussion item. Did you have anything you'd like to share on it?
No,
Colleen?
I'm fine.
So there's no vote or anything to be discussed. I just wanted to, because like I said, I had an issue with the way it was presented at the last board meeting. We both have had our say, and I think it's time to move on to the next agenda item.
absolutely.
Okay, Mr. Marshall, are you ready to talk about the year-to-date progress?
Sure am. So at this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Jordan Eubank, Construction Project Manager for Lynchburg City Schools. Mr. Eubank oversees the planning, coordination, and execution of our capital improvement projects and works closely with our schools, contractors, and city partners to ensure projects are completed efficiently and effectively. This evening, he's going to provide an update on our completed, ongoing, and upcoming capital improvement projects with a specific focus on the $10 million in CIP funds allocated for 2026 and the $30 million planned for 2027. So at this time, I'm going to hand it over to Jordan.
Thank you, Travis. Thanks for having me. Like you said, I'm going to give a little presentation here on just
Oh, we got
our
presentation, all right.
CIP projects. We got some nice pictures up there for everybody to look at. So I guess if we can go to the first slide. There we go. So the 2026 roofing projects. So as it says there, the Laurel Regional School, really all of them are out for bid right now. But Laurel Regional, we broke out. It had some unique complexities with it, so we broke it out from the others. But we're expecting bids for both, or for all of the roofing projects here at the end of this month and beginning of March. We did have our pre-bid meeting for one last week, and I've got another one tomorrow. And we had a pretty good showing, so we're hopeful that we'll get some good numbers there. And as it says there at the bottom, once these are completed, we won't have to do any more until 2030. So the Heritage High School turf and track replacement, this includes the football and baseball field as well as the track. So if you have, maybe you haven't noticed, they've been over there working for the past few months. The football/soccer field, they're about 90% completed. They were able to get over there before the snow event that we had a few weeks back. They're working on infill just to finish that up. The baseball field, they did not get started on that, so we are hoping and praying that the sunshine today and tomorrow will get the ice off the field so we can proceed there. Right now, the goal is both fields to be completed by 2/23 when spring sports start. We are getting tight on that window. But we do feel that if we can get some good weather, that we'll be able to hit that. And we do have alternate.
Okay, that would be my question. Where would we, if we're not able to start 2/23, where would we use?
So I've been working with Brad Bradley, the AD over there, and he ensures me that we have, or he has a plan in case one or both are not available. But as you can see there on the right, those are the renderings. That's what the new fields will look like once they're completed. And I think we have on the next slide. So that's the baseball field. Obviously, that's just the gravel base there. That was right before the snow. And then the next slide. So there's the football field. They're in the process of putting the turf on. So, we're pretty excited to see those get finished up. And
Are they using a different adhesive than they used in the past?
yes,
Okay.
there will be a different adhesive. Also, these fields, as technology has progressed in the turf industry, there is much less or significantly less joints in the field. So we should, as maintenance-wise, these should fare much better than the ones we've had in the past. So, and then next, we've got the EC Glass turf and track replacement. So as you all know, we've talked about in the past, this one's a little more complex. We had some geotechnical borings done in late 2025 that helped us kind of determine what was underneath of the track surface and the asphalt, and kind of help us decide how far down we need to go to get the elevation of that track back down to where it needs to be to address some of the tripping and safety hazards that we have had there in the past. We do have I got the proposal on the 30th there, as it says, and then I met with the contractor as well as this school staff last week to kind of go through it, and basically we're working on getting that finalized here in the next couple weeks. And then this project is scheduled to start basically as soon as spring sports conclude, and then substantial completion will be early August, hopefully being done by the time that fall sports start out. They may have to practice on the other field some, but it'll definitely be ready by game time. And then, well, I was going to say on the right there, in the last slide, it's hard to see from back here, for me at least, but so you can, one of the big things with this project is trying to get the field realigned. So if you see the two red lines that go all the way across, those are the current lights. And so for some reason, however many
They
years
were
ago-
offset.
Correct.
Okay.
And so one of the big things is we're going to slide that, or basically move the whole field over to recenter everything.
Okay.
And so that's another one of the things that's been a complexity of this project that we didn't have at Heritage. So we're getting really close to that.
So let me make sure I see this right. So the blue lines is gonna be,
The new 50-yard line there in the middle, and then over in the D zone at the end, that'll be, or pretty close to where the,
okay, so everything's gonna kind of shift back.
Correct.
As far as the football field.
yep.
What about the track? Is that gonna,
The track should stay the same.
okay, we're just shifting the football field, okay.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Was this offset originally for different track events, maybe discus or shot put, if that's what the end is for?
So the only thing I can figure, I think the answer to that would be no. I don't think we offset it for specific track events or anything. The only thing I can figure is they offset it, because if you can see now, where the 50 is now is basically in the middle of the current bleachers that we have. And so
Okay.
my only thought is they centered it to the bleachers instead of, I think the bleachers were put in with the intention that one day they would,
Expand this way?
correct, yeah. And
Okay.
so that, the center line would be where we show it now in blue.
Because I think discus and stuff are those things back there, aren't they?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And so this, they would redo the track surface, the D zone, new turf. They would also redo the long jump, pole vault, and all of those areas back there as well. So like I said, we're getting really close to having that finalized so we can get design started and get things moving.
Okay.
All right, next slide. So the RS Payne and EC Glass Building Envelope projects, so they're currently working at both schools. They have pulled off of RS Payne a little bit with the weather. It's been tougher for them to work over there just because everything is exterior of the building that they need lifts and stuff for, as you can see in that top picture on the right. But they've mainly been working at EC Glass in the senior and junior courtyards. They're recoating lintels, recaulking exterior windows, doors, the coping stones up top. We're working on the details to, reflash those and recaulk them and get those in better shape so we can hopefully stop all the leaks on the inside. And then, as I say there at the bottom, once the temperatures start warming up, because, most of this is temperature dependent work, we should really start seeing some strides at both of those schools.
When do we expect these projects to be?
This one is January 2027.
Okay. Both of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then this one, this was not actually a CIP project, but nevertheless is an upgrade to one of the schools that we manage. So as I say there, on January 6th, we did the ribbon cutting for the 2,600 square foot modular unit at Lowell Regional School, which they will use as office and instructional space for occupational therapists, physical therapists. To be completely honest, I'm not sure what those other abbreviations mean, but there's several specialized departments in there that will be using that space to better help the students there.
I think the first one's for social workers.
Yeah, yeah. All right, next slide. The CTE upgrades, so we did complete the Sandusky Middle School Technology Lab this past fall. The culinary arts, basically, I'm working with Robbie Dooley, and we are working with VDOH to set up the required inspections of the kitchens at the schools. And basically, what those inspections will do is basically they'll come in and say, okay, well, you have to do this, this, and this. And so that'll allow us to say, all right, we've got to spend this much money on these things, and then it'll leave us with, okay, what else can we do with the money? And that's very similar to the automotive program down below. But before that, the middle schools, we're working with local architectural consultants to develop a new layout for some of the culinary arts spaces in the middle schools, as well as looking at upgraded appliances for all 3 schools. And then the automotive program is very similar to the culinary arts at the high schools. We have applied for the ASE accreditation inspection for this program and are awaiting a confirmed date for that inspection. And that inspection will guide us as far as what improvements are required for the accreditation, and as well as, same thing, let us know, once we covered out what we need, what else can we get? And I know we already have a list of things in there that we know we want to do, but we're kind of waiting on their judgment to say, you have to do this or you have to do that before we can get the wants out of
Okay.
that. So, next slide. So the playground upgrades. So basically, those are the three major schools that we completed playground upgrades at. Those are all completed at this point. I believe that photo right there is TC Miller. So hopefully everybody's happy with those. They look nice, that's for sure. The access control upgrades. So we've talked a little bit about this one before. This is just kind of a progress update. So RS Payne, we are very close to being 100% done with. Heritage, also getting pretty close, and then kind of dwindles down as we're going through the other schools, because that's the order that we chose to complete them in. But we are moving along, and then we're getting close to even starting some of the phase 2 walkthroughs and getting the guys going on those. So it's all moving along pretty well. Obviously, with this one, there's some day-to-day issues that we deal with when we're changing systems like this, but I think we're working through those pretty well. The schools have certainly been helpful and with working with us through this process. So
Didn't we make an amendment to do something earlier with Fort
yeah,
Hill?
so that will be phase 2. We approved the change order for phase 2.
Okay.
Which we're getting ready to start
Okay.
the initial walkthroughs and stuff like that for that. So. So this is another one that is not necessarily a CIP funded project, but is, like I say up there, we've partnered with the community development and have, as part of the Diamond Hill Neighborhood Plan, to begin a multi-phase project at Dunbar Middle School for innovation. This project will include enhancements to public access to the more than 16 acres that comprise the Dunbar schoolyard, and is the first of the multi-phase project. In this first phase, we actually just got the comprehensive agreement back today from Coleman Adams, and so we're getting ready to get started, and it's planned to be done in June of 2026. Basically, the renderings you can see there on the right, it's a lot of landscaping improvements. There's walk paths that we're putting through the property down below the school to kind of make it more accessible to the community. Improving some of the site fencing around there. There's adding some bleachers, or improving and adding some bleachers there on the soccer and football field. And like I said, this is a multi-phase project, so we're already working on the RFPs for phase 2. And this is completely CBDG funded through the city, so
So this is gonna allow the public to go in and use the track, walking track and that type of thing in off hours, or?
yeah, well, yes, it's almost giving them a place to walk without going on the track. So
Okay.
there's gonna be a trail that goes all the way through that bottom property
Okay.
that they can use, but I think also the track is open for them to walk. Is that correct? Yes. So we're pretty excited about that one, and the phases to come as well. And then this is just kind of a list of the 2027 projects, so what we're looking forward to. Some of this, we've kind of been working behind the scenes with some designers and contractors, kind kind of going back through, trying to finalize some of the scopes for the schools, make sure the budgets that we had are going to align with what we want to do, and sort of working through the complexities of the schools. And, you know, some of these is what we're going to do with the students during the construction, and if we have to move them, or can all of what we need to do be done in a summer, or do we have to phase it out? So we're kind of working through some of the complexities of that, as well as, you know, looking forward, we'll be starting to talk with procurement as far as, you know, what project delivery methods are going to be best for us moving forward to get this much work done, or have this much work going on at this many locations, and get the best cost and pricing that we can get. So, any questions? Well, thank you, everybody. If you have any questions that you think of afterwards, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, thanks.
All right.
Mr. Connor, moving forward, I know that this information is really useful for us to see. Is this something that you would like to, the same exact presentation brought to the full board?
We'll discuss it on our agenda prep, but maybe, we still working on, waiting to hear back from the city on next year's budget, right? Where we at on that process?
So, next year's budget, I'm waiting for a response and a recommended from the city manager's office on what the revenues will look like. And then I'll redesign the budget request and bring that back
Okay,
to
let's
the committee as
let's
well.
do it at, not to, the next one, but the next full school board meeting. Let's bring them up to date on where we're at with the projects.
So not the 17th is the next one.
Yeah, so let's do it at the
Not
March
that one,
meeting.
March one, okay. Thank you.
That way we can show what we've accomplished. That was a big deal with them last, when we went through the whole 10 million,
Yep.
$30 million, so we can show them, hey, we can be trusted. We want the whole 60 million at one time, so we could plan it all the way out. But at least we can show them that we're on top of it with the 10 million, and we're ahead of the game on the 30 million.
Absolutely agree. Thank you.
Guess you're gonna talk about anything lately on the request for the 3 million reallocation.
That's me.
Okay.
Good evening.
Have we heard
committee
anything?
Members. Actually, we have. We have received notification that City Council will be entertaining our request for the $3.3 million at their February 24th meeting.
Okay.
And Dr. Majette and I have been requested to be there to answer any questions that they may have. So that's where we are in regards to that request.
And I think a email came out requesting that all the board members show up at that meeting as well.
I think I saw that.
The support would be great, yes, sir.
Yeah. So I mean, because like I say, and that's 1 million for book reserve, right?
That is correct, yes, sir.
One,
Well,
I'm rounding, 1 million for.
you know I don't round.
Right. 1 million for vehicles for the maintenance and
That is
facilities department.
Yes, sir.
And then the other million is for, what was that?
Health insurance
Health
reserve.
insurance.
And
Oh,
that would be $1.2 million.
Okay.
That's my rounding for textbook.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, but I knew each one was around $1 million, so.
Yes, sir.
But I'm fighting for those vehicles,
Yes, sir.
so,
So this,
getting closer. Don keeps peeking around the corner.
Yes.
this
Okay.
3 million, is this completely separate from the bonus that he's trying to get for the
Yes,
staff?
sir.
Is it completely different?
is. So, and just to clarify for those watching via camera, it's 3.3, and it's 1.1 for health insurance, 1.2 for textbook reserve, and 1 million for vehicle replacement, which is very needed.
And for clarification, this is money that we have saved from the fiscal 25, 26 operating.
So, yes, sir, we leveraged some grant funding against our operating expenditures and was able to save local funds by using the grant funds. And so we are just requesting, we had underspent budget lines, we leveraged grant funding, we're requesting the money to put in reserve accounts that the city will hold for us for future endeavors. So, yes, sir.
Then the other one, the bonus that we're asking for is there's supposed to be a somewhat $14 million city surplus. And I think that request involves that, but I don't know if that city surplus has been finalized.
So their audit has been finalized, so I think that is a definite number.
Right.
So I am working an analysis on what that impact would be for that bonus, how much it would cost, and I'll provide all that data to Dr. Majette once that's complete.
Okay. Anything else on the reallocation? And we're gonna bring that to the full board on the 17th?
So the reallocation has already actually been before the board.
Okay.
It will be going to city council on the 24th.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Substitute pay rate.
Yes, sir. So I know we have talked about the substitute pay rate before for certain substitutes, but I wanted to bring it before this committee for all of our operational substitutes because we're kind of desegregated in our approval of that. And so what you have before you is a request to bring our secretary and custodians up to the $17 an hour starting rate that we already have in place for our transportation substitutes. So as you will recall, last fiscal year, in our prior fiscal year, we set our starting salary at $17 an hour. When doing that, we did not take into consideration our substitutes as well. So we're just trying to align everyone at that $17 an hour and potentially garner a little more interest in serving in those operational substitute roles so that we can fill in some gaps that we have in bringing help in those areas.
So have any of these steps been brought to the whole board?
So actually, none of these rates have been presented to the board as of yet. This would be, if approved in this committee, it would go to the consent agenda for the full board, and then we would be in line with what our starting salary is on our operational substitutes as well. So,
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
thank you so much. I
right.
appreciate that a great deal.
Okay, so that'll go on our consent agenda on the next. All right, board member comments? Mr. DePaul?
Nothing today.
Mr. Aline?
Not a whole lot. I seem to think that the CIP people are doing well. I was maybe gonna ask one other thing. Do you guys ever run into a snag where, you run into, the project is costing more or less, and then you have to make adjustments?
Yes, we certainly run into unforeseen conditions sometimes, and I'd say right now we are in the plus on those items as far as LCS is in the plus. We do have contingencies on most, especially the bigger projects, that we're doing pretty good with not using so far, and the idea would be that whatever funds that we save in the projects that we're doing now, we're gonna roll right into the next ones and do as much as we can with it. So,
Very good.
Anything else? Mr. Marshall?
No, sir. I appreciate it, guys.
All right, meeting's adjourned.
All right.